The U.S. government is deep in one of its longest shutdowns ever. Yet President Donald Trump seems to be living in a completely different world. While hundreds of thousands of federal workers go without pay and small businesses brace for the hit, the president's schedule remains busy, but not with finding solutions. This week, he's been celebrating plans for a $300 million White House ballroom, praising a ceasefire in Gaza, preparing for a trip to Asia, and hosting Republican senators for lunch in the Rose Garden. What he hasn't done is meet with Democratic leaders to resolve the shutdown that began on October 1st. It's now stretched past 3 weeks, and there's still no sign of progress. When asked about the growing impact, Trump simply said, "I don't think it's affecting what we're doing, but it's too bad for a lot of people." For millions of Americans, that lot of people includes them. 9 months into his second term, Trump's America First message looks more like a story of opposites: luxury in Washington and worry everywhere else. He often praises tariffs as a beautiful solution for America's economy. But outside the Capitol, that beauty has started to fade. While he focuses on new projects and ceremonies, many Americans are watching their livelihoods crumble, especially in the farming towns and factory communities that helped elect him. Across the country, those who once supported him most are now facing the harshest consequences. This fall, American farmers have harvested one of the largest soybean crops ever, so big it covers more land than the entire state of New Mexico. But there's one big problem. Their largest buyer, China, has stopped purchasing U.S. soybeans altogether. In response to Trump's tariffs on steel, aluminum, and electronics, Beijing retaliated by targeting American farmers, cutting off billions of dollars worth of soybean imports. Before the trade war, China bought about $13 billion worth of U.S. soybeans each year, roughly 1/5 of America's total crop. That partnership had kept many small-town economies alive. Now, that lifeline is gone. In states like North Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota, regions built around shipping soybeans to China, the trains have stopped running. What used to be a steady flow of grain cars is now silence. Eric Larson, a grain elevator manager in North Dakota, put it simply: "We used to load train after train headed for China. Now nothing. The whole system was built for exports that don't exist anymore." Some farmers are trying to find smaller markets in places like Mexico, Bangladesh, or Vietnam, but none of them can replace the sheer size and stability of Chinese demand. For many of these farmers, the disappointment feels personal. They remember the campaign promises, Trump telling them he was their voice, that he'd fight for them like no one else. They cheered when he said he'd stand up to China's unfair trade practices. They believed him when he said the tariffs would be temporary, and that America would soon be winning again. But now, they're tired, not of winning, but of waiting. As Trump boasts about economic success on social media and blames China for the damage, the reality in rural America tells a very different story. Soybean prices have dropped to around $10.30 a bushel, barely enough for most farmers to break even. While the government has rolled out billions of dollars in aid, farmers say the help doesn't come close to fixing the long-term damage. Many are left wondering if the man they trusted to protect them is now the reason they're struggling to survive. "We don't want bailouts," said one farmer from Illinois. "We just want our buyers back." Kentucky Farmer and Soybean Association President Caleb Ragland shares that frustration. "We've always supported this administration," he said, "but we need real help now. Both sides must come together. There's too much on the line." And he's right. Just last year, China bought around 25 million metric tons of American soybeans. This year, that number has dropped to 0. Not a single shipment from the new harvest has been sold. The result? A massive oversupply. Mountains of soybeans are sitting in makeshift storage bins, covered with tarps, some even starting to rot. President Trump insists that the pain will pay off, that new trade deals will make up for the loss, and that other countries will step in to buy. But experts say that's unrealistic. "No one can replace China," explained one grain broker. "You can ship to Mexico, Europe, or Southeast Asia, but even combined, they can't match what we lost." Meanwhile, China has moved on. Its state-owned companies are now signing long-term deals with Brazil and Argentina, shifting global supply chains away from the U.S. Brazilian farmer Vanderlei Adaites put it plainly: We're growing more soybeans because China wants them. But honestly, there's too much on the market now. Prices are falling for us too. The whole world is drowning in soybeans, and that's the real tragedy. The global farming economy is deeply connected. When one big buyer steps back, the shockwaves spread everywhere. Still, the people feeling it the hardest are the American farmers, who once believed tariffs would make them strong again. President Trump's response has been firm and defensive. He blames China, Democrats, and the media. He insists the tariffs are working, that America is winning the trade war. But for farmers staring at piles of unsold crops and shrinking profits, that victory feels hollow. Our farmers have been boycotted by China. Trump told reporters on Air Force One, "I don't want that. Our farmers are patriots." But patriotism doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't keep the lights on in small-town grain elevators. And it doesn't stop the cost of farm equipment from rising, especially when steel and aluminum tariffs make tractors and spare parts more expensive than ever. Illinois farmer John Bartman has seen this before. He remembers the farm crisis of the 1980s, high interest rates, inflation, and collapsing exports. "This feels like déjà vu," he said. "We're right back where we were. High costs, low prices, and no buyers." And he's not wrong. The similarities are striking. Back then, global debt and interest rates caused the collapse. Today, it's political standoffs and economic nationalism. Different causes, same results. Family farms struggling to survive. It's not just farmers feeling the pressure. Small factories, truck drivers, and shipping companies across the Midwest are caught in the same storm. Tariffs have made supplies more expensive, customers more cautious, and profits thinner. A parts supplier that once thrived on steady orders from machinery makers is now laying off workers. A local trucking company reports fewer loads as exports slow. And a farm equipment dealer in Iowa says he's never seen so many canceled orders at once. These are the ripple effects of tariffs, the hidden costs of an economic fight that most small businesses never signed up for but still have to endure. The America First plan was supposed to pay U.S. farming for years to come. For the first time in decades, many farmers are wondering if they can keep going. Some are planting fewer acres. Others are switching to crops like corn or wheat. And a few are walking away from farming entirely. In small-town diners, the conversations have changed too. They used to be about growth, new equipment, bigger yields, future plans. Now, they're about survival. As one farmer put it, "We thought America first meant us first. Turns out, it means us last." It's a painful realization for communities that have always embodied American values, hard work, resilience, and self-reliance. They believed independence would make them strong. But in today's global economy, real strength often comes from cooperation. There's still time to change direction. Farmers don't need sympathy. They need smart, steady policies. They need reliable markets, fair trade, and leaders who understand that global competition doesn't vanish with tariffs. It just shifts somewhere else. As the government shutdown drags on and trade talks stall, one question grows louder. How much longer can America's heartland carry the weight of an economic plan that turns its allies into rivals and its farmers into collateral damage? The America First promise was meant to bring renewal, but 9 months into Trump's second term, it feels more like a reckoning, where loyalty meets reality. Inside Washington, chandeliers rise in the new White House ballroom. Across the Midwest, grain silos overflow with crops that no one will buy. It's a powerful image and a heartbreaking one, because the real cost of America First isn't measured in tariffs or politics. It's measured in the quiet struggles of towns that once believed they'd finally been heard, only to realize their voices were never part of the plan. The story may end here, but what happens next is up to you. This channel has no sponsors, no big funding, just viewers like you. If you believe truth should never be silenced, take a stand. Subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd like to go one step further, hit join. Even the smallest support helps. Keep this channel alive and keeps independent voices strong.